Everything usually happens in doubles with me. For example, if someone is using a new word I have never heard, then chances are very good that I will hear someone else use that word within a week or a month. It is similar to a deja vu, but in this case, both events are real. I have a great story to tell you, one of my double stories, and this is no pun. And while I tell you this very interesting story, you can watch me painting my very first aeroplane, or airplane, or whatever you call it. This plane is a Bellanca Cruisair, and it will be the subject of today's double story. Again, no pun. I just thought of another example of one of my double moments. When I worked at Toyota as a draftsman on their rally car, one of my projects was to design an adapter system to use the then new 2ZZ engine's variable valve timing pulleys on the camshaft of the 3SGE that we were using in the rally car. There was lots of secrecy, the engine was locked in a small storeroom and I wasn't even allowed to discuss it with my draftsman colleague. But a month later, I went to that year's Auto Africa Expo, only to discover that Toyota had a 2ZZ engine, not only on display in front of God and everyone, but it was also disassembled so that the public could see all the internal details. At that stage, I, who worked on the engine, wasn't even allowed to see the spares. That's ridiculous, but that's motorsport for you. And that is my double story for the 2ZZ. Now, these double stories are not always very interesting to whomever I usually tell them, but this one that I'm about to tell you is really good. A couple of years ago, my brother lent me his copy of Elon Musk's biography. It was a great book. I enjoyed the read. In there is a picture of Elon's grandfather's aeroplane, or airplane, whatever you want to call it. It was a red Bellanca Cruisair. A few weeks later, I was visiting a friend of mine. He was going through his 35mm photography slides with a little lens thingy you place a slide in and hold it in front of your eye. Handing me this eyepiece thingy, he said, "This is how your neighborhood looked in 1968. My friend used to fly in the 1960s at Wonderboom Airport. The photograph was taken from Wonderboom Airport towards the Magalies mountain range in the south, overlooking the neighborhood where I have been living most of my life. In the background you see open patches of land with newly built houses scattered about. It was fascinating because my neighborhood looks nothing like that today. In fact, our house, where we've been living since 1976, didn't even exist when that photo was taken. But then a foreground grabbed my attention. A beautiful red Bellanca Cruisair stands proudly in the foreground, as if its tubular frame owns the airport. I said to my friend, "Wow, this is a very interesting photo." And I asked, do you know anything about this aeroplane?" His reply almost made me fall off my chair. "That airplane belonged to some eccentric doctor from Canada who was looking for some lost city in Botswana," was his reply. My friend had no idea who Elon Musk was at that time, and it took some YouTube videos to show him. Being a mechanical designer with quite a lot of ideas in a country where they'll most likely die with me, I suggested we see if Elon would help us start one of my venture ideas instead of us trying to sell the slide to him. Apart from him probably being annoyed 24/7 by people wanting money, I thought this would better appeal to him because my ideas would be very beneficial to the conservation of Earth and with it humanity, which is Elon's mission, and all would make money as well. If he didn't have time for it, which he probably don't, he would probably at least be able to point me to someone who would help me. So my proposal, if I could get hold of him, would be to visit him for 3 days in exchange for the slide. During the 3 days, I would then tag along with him through his factories. Having worked in factories myself and coming from the engineering industry, this would be my version of Disneyland. And whenever he has a few seconds of time for himself, I would get to pitch one of my ideas to him and see what he thinks and if and how he would help me with it. And if I get sent home empty-handed after 3 days, then at least I would have something to tell the grandkids I never had. It's been a few years now and I could not get hold of Elon, not even through the biographer. I'm not sure if he was just too busy or if messages never reached him or if he was just not interested, but nothing came up. So recently I decided to paint an aeroplane and then thought that I might as well make myself a little souvenir for one of the best double stories I've had in my life. So this is it. I'm painting that painting from the photograph, and I would like to invite you to comment on it and ask any questions about art or what I could find out about the airplane or whatever. Please comment. And if you think my proposal for Elon would have been a good one, hit the like button. And if you'd like to see me make more content in the future, please subscribe. So now back to the painting. I know it's sad that I didn't paint the first aeroplane flying, but I really enjoyed painting this one, and I will do some flying ones in the future. You may also want to comment if there is any specific aeroplane you would like to see me paint. The Cruisair is a very interesting plane. This one, as far as I can tell, is the 1413. And if this is in fact Elon's grandfather's, then it would have been built in 1948. The aeroplane has the name Winnie written on the side of the nose section, and I thought maybe they were from Winnipeg, but Joshua Haldeman was married to Winifred or Win, so maybe the Cruisair got her name. The Bellanca Model 14 Cruisair was the first mass-produced small aircraft in America with retracting landing gear, and to me it does look quite cool. Its fuselage construction basically consists of a space frame with fabric covering, and the wings were constructed of spruce with plywood skin. It had a 112 kilowatt horizontally opposed engine. So that's it then. Thank you for watching, and please like, subscribe, share, comment, and keep well.